Hannah from Ballerina Farm, she's really in you guys' heads. But here's my question. What you're all flipping out about, including my friend Haley Stewart, put that back up. Jen, what? What you're all flipping out about is her looking smoking hot and participating in Miss World right after she gave birth. I mean, like, I think the placenta probably hadn't even come out when she was putting on her ball gown. I mean, that was quick. That was a quick turnaround. So she's in your head about that, but why was she not in your head before? I think you guys just haven't been following her closely enough. Caitlin, pull up cooking. Pull up the cooking one. We can't play audio on this because she put copyrighted music in the background. So this is on silent. But I'll describe this. Well, Caitlin, you describe it. What is she doing here?
Either she's making some sort of a dough.
Oh, she's making ravioli just like you and I do.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
But is she getting the freezer dried frozen thing out of the freezer like you and I do?
You got the flour, the eggs, the KitchenAids out. We're rolling dough. She's straight up making ravioli from scratch.
There's a baby sitting there quietly.
Yeah, just like participating without participating.
Just that, not screaming.
No, just there.
Not ruining everything. The toddlers aren't walking
there she
up.
Goes.
Oh, it was like the little chubby baby hand went like halfway there,
and then
so just nothing like what would.
Look, I've made ravioli before, and it was not this easy.
No, so she's now we're boiling the ravioli that she made by hand and putting it on an heirloom plate, and I'm sure that flour is from wheat she threshed herself.
Oh, probably if she's on a farm.
Yeah. Why wasn't this in you guys' head? I mean, I was just surprised that you guys were surprised that she competed in Mrs. World right after giving birth to her 8th child. It's like, that's what she does. She's been winning. I mean, this is like, I'm way more intimidated by how she cooks with young kids. I mean, whatever. Get me a pair of titanium Spanx and hell, I'll go to Miss World. That's fine. I'll be Mrs. World. Listen, give me 4 Pims and lemonade and some titanium Spanx. I'll compete in Mrs. World too. My talent will be podcasting. That'll be my talent. I'll sit down and I'll do this on stage.
Word.
It's not that hard. You guys should be way more intimidated by her cooking than by her beauty pageant stuff. I don't know why you guys are in such a tizzy about that. Her cooking and her slopping hogs and birthing cows is where she's really winning. That's where she's beating us. It's not in Mrs. World. But listen, so the controversy surrounding Hannah from Ballerina Farm is people saying that she is setting unrealistic expectations for women by competing in Mrs. World 12 days after giving birth to her 8th child. Here's what you have to understand about Ballerina Farm. She's just better than us. She's just better than us. She's a better wife. She's a better mother. She's a better cook. She's a better businesswoman. She's more flexible than we are. She's a better dancer than we are. She just wins. Comparing Ballerina Farm to us is comparing apples to kumquats. We're the kumquats and we lose. And the sooner you guys accept that, the more peace you will have in your life. She's better. She's winning on every level, and she's not setting unrealistic expectations. I think she's actually holding back. I think she's actually better than us than you even realize she is, because she doesn't only make tons of money that she earns. I mean, through her own hard work and business acumen, she made more money this month than you will make in 5 years and then I will make in 10 years. Like, all through her own work. But her husband's father is the CEO of JetBlue. Oh. So she also has generational wealth to fall back on. She could be on Instagram every day. Like, hello, poors. What's it like to be fat? I wouldn't know, because I was just having my 8th baby while doing pirouettes, and I'm still a size 2 because that's my life. And, and like, if I ever feel down about how like I gained 1 pound during pregnancy, I just, you know what I do? I remember I remember my faith and my 9-figure net worth. I just feel like that helps, you know? And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm so hot. And then I look at my kids who are also gorgeous and I see how happy they are. And I see how my kids don't even want to be on screens because they just frolic outside getting fresh air and enrichment all the time. And, you know, and if I ever feel down, like some of the, you know, one piece of the ravioli I made wasn't fully cooked, you know, then I just think about what a great businesswoman I am and how, even though I did have tons of money to start with, I built this, you know, really massive business. And I also just have such a great support system. My family is a bunch of super mentally healthy people. I think she actually has 8 or 9 siblings. She's from a huge family. Wow. And everyone is, they're so kind and polite and they just love each other so much. And they're so supportive. You know, she doesn't have the kind of situation like some of you guys do. Some of, you know, our family has its own complexities where it's like, you know, I know someone who won't be named where, you know, mom calls with a cigarette in her mouth. She just got drunk and she's like, how do you start one of them OnlyFans? You know, Hannah doesn't have to deal with any of that because she is surrounded by supportive, wholesome family members who just love one another and just show up for each other consistently in the most healthy possible ways. So she also can kind of fall back on that. It's like, well, if it's not the 9-figure net worth, it's the village that I have. I'd have to say it's that or my looks. Well, or how well my kids are doing. I don't know. Which
one do I choose?
It's hard to narrow down. It's hard because my life is like 10 out of 10 in every area. And her husband adores her. He just adores her and he's a good looking guy. And, Hannah is not setting unrealistic expectations for women. She's just being better than us. She's just existing and winning. We are a bunch of schmo losers in comparison to this woman, like legitimately. I mean, it's not, you're not beating yourself up if you're like, I suck compared to Ballerina Farm. You do, I do, we just do. And I think that we should accept that she's not setting unrealistic standards. She's just winning. She's just straight up winning. Now people are talking about the baby. Okay, so go to Ballerina behind the scenes. Let's play that clip. This is a behind the scenes. She's putting some oil in a bath. Let me know what that oil is, you know? Maybe it's like cocaine and barbiturates. Like what's in that oil? And then there's her little baby. She's getting ready for Mrs. World. Oh, there's my postpartum outfit. She's dressed as a bird. Now she's wearing a hot ball gown.
2, 3.
Yeah, another hot ball gown. Now she's wearing a business outfit. Now she's zipping up pants with a size 2 waist. Yeah. I think this is 3 days. I'm not kidding. I think it's like 3 days after she gave birth. You can see these videos on YouTube. Oh, there's her husband gazing at her adoringly. There's a little baby. All right, so everyone's worried about the baby. Look how hot she looks there. I want it. Okay. Oh, hang on. What tangent, but worth it. Hit the tangent, but worth it button. And while I'm on this tangent, do the ballerina dress clip.
Okay.
So look at how they do her makeup here. So her makeup, it makes her look kind of different. I mean, she looks like a supermodel version of herself, but like max gorgeous. This is her face, but really taken to the next level. Whoever did her makeup knows her body type. You've got to look up, if you're not going to pull up my YouTube, which I know you guys are not, just Google Ballerina Farm Mrs. World, not Miss World, Mrs. World. Ballerina Farm Mrs. World, and you'll see how they did her makeup. That's a great example of knowing your kibby body type and leaning into it hard, and how shockingly gorgeous you can look. And the dresses she wore also are a fit with her kibby dramatic body type. Actually, an example is Taylor Tomlinson, the comedian, recently presented at, I think maybe the Emmys. And she has very much a romantic body type, romantic all the way. And they put her in a dramatic outfit. It was a very, very, very deep V. I don't suppose you could get that up real quick. Is that too much? No. Is that okay? Caitlin will look for it. And I want to emphasize, Taylor looked drop dead gorgeous. This is also an example of you can still look gorgeous if you dress outside of your body type. But I do think that I wish that Taylor's stylist knew about. Do Taylor Tomlinson Emmys? I think that will come up. I do wish that her stylist, the one with her and Stephen Colbert. I wish her stylist knew about the Kibbe body types because Taylor is a romantic. So you'll see if we can get this up on YouTube or just Google Taylor Tomlinson Emmys. I want to emphasize again, she looked drop dead gorgeous. She's just so gorgeous. She can do whatever she wants.
You made it pop up here, yeah?
Yeah. But I think that, like, imagine her in something more like what Marilyn Monroe or someone with a little bit more of a romantic look would wear. I think it would have suited her a little better. This is a dress for someone with a dramatic body type, which I don't think Taylor has. And as hot as she looks, I think it would have even been next level if they had put her in something that is tailored, that's tailored more towards the dramatics, or maybe even that Sofia Vergara. I think we decided she was a soft classic or something. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine Taylor wearing something that Sofia Vergara, Marilyn Monroe, something like that would wear. I just think it would have been next level. Okay, that's good on that. Hannah, Hannah, God loves Hannah more than he loves you and myself. So of course Hannah's stylist knows about the Kibbe body types. And in fact, play the dress, the one that's dressed. Yeah. Yeah. When you look at these dresses that she's wearing to Mrs. World, they know her Kibbe type. And so for those of you wondering, how can someone look that good 12 days postpartum in a ball gown? The answer is God loves her more than he loves the rest of us. But the second answer is she's just naturally thin on a level that you and I can never relate to. But the third answer is her stylist knew her Kibbe type. Her stylist knew her Kibbe type. And that's how you can really nail it. If they had put her in a gamine dress or a romantic dress, it would have shown off the wrong things and she wouldn't have looked nearly as good in it. So people are worried about the baby. I don't worry about the baby, guys. She has an incredible village. She has a gazillion siblings. Her mom is super involved in her life. And see, that's the thing. When you have a village as a woman, it gives you a little more leeway to just kind of push some limits that moms might not normally push because your village is there to pick up the slack. People saying, how could Hannah from Ballerina Farm compete in Mrs. World 12 days after giving birth? Because she has a village. If she were isolated like a lot of us, she probably couldn't have done that. Yeah. But she has a ton of siblings. She has a mom who lives near her and is really involved. And all of these women in her life are coming together to help make this happen. Behind every extraordinary mom is a village. That's why I'm not worried about, like, her baby. What about the baby? The baby's fine. She's got tons of sisters and women to help out. Like, you can pump breast milk. Like, I'm not worried about that angle of it at all. I think what we're doing is we're kind of projecting our own sad, isolated lives onto her. Yes, for you or for me, we'd die if we tried to do that because we don't have 6 sisters coming over to change the baby's diaper and be like, hey, can I make you some nutritious food so you can fit into that dress? And, oh, your mom's here. And like, she's, you pump some breast milk and mom's holding the baby and you totally trust her. And you have, your other kids who can help out. Like, we didn't have any of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that might not have made sense for you and I to do it, but we don't have the village that Hannah has. All things are possible when God loves you more than everyone else and you have a village. That's all it takes. Look, listen. Hannah from Ballerina Farm is a beautiful example that if you have trust in God and a village and a 9-figure net worth, you can do anything. You can do, the sky's the limit. Nothing can stop you. You can girl boss your way all the way to the top. And that's just, all you need is $100 million in the love of God. And that's, you too could be, could be doing all that. You know what's sad though, is like, I couldn't look, Joe's dad could have been CEO of JetBlue. And I mean, I would just be like an alcoholic. I mean, I would have been like a wasteoid. I'd have no job. And, I would just be like, I'd spend all my money on, Botox and filler. And I drink a lot. I mean, it wouldn't. So I'm dead serious when I say I couldn't do what she's doing with all the money in the world. Like, and she is legitimately out there slopping hogs, putting her hand all up in a cow who's given birth. And you're right. I mean, she's living it. She's doing way more than I would do. I would live in a penthouse on Fifth Avenue, and then I'd have a second penthouse downstairs just for my staff. It would be like Downton Abbey, but on Fifth Avenue. And I wouldn't be doing any of that. I would not mess around with any filthy animals. I would not live in the middle of nowhere. None of that would be happening. So kudos to her. I mean, yeah, I think that there are some people on social media, maybe even most of them, who are kind of lying about who they are. Should I name names? There are people on social media who are lying. There could even be influencers who rose to the top on body positivity stuff. And then, because they were a little bit voluptuous and like they would post bikini pictures and everyone would be like, you're so brave. And then be like, oh my gosh, I am so brave. And I have 20,000 new followers. And then the minute Ozempic hit the marketplace, these people are down to a size 2 and talking to us about how they adopted an active lifestyle and they're walking. And it's like, oh, you're such a fraud. So those people who are like, obviously on Ozempic and lying about it, and just like generally being a fraud. Yes, those people are worth decrying because they're not really living it. They're just making it look like they're living it on social media. And that is a problem. And you don't want to let those people get in your head. But there are some people like Hannah that this is like, they're actually living it. They're actually that much better than us, and probably like even better than us than we even realize. Like, I think she's holding back. I think she is holding back on what she shows on social media because she knows that each one of us would spontaneously combust into a trillion pieces if we actually saw how good her life is. I think she's holding back. So don't worry about her baby. She's got money in a village. You think that baby isn't happy to be that baby? That baby's like, girl, my grandfather is the CEO of JetBlue. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I've got 17 aunts and uncles, and somehow they're mysteriously rich too. And they're all hot. So, I'm going to grow up to be hot. That's what that baby's saying right now. You guys are like, that poor baby is being dragged around to the Mrs. World Cup. That baby's a future Mrs. World. She's going to do the exact same thing. And she'll be like, I'm so glad that my hot mom blazed the trail for this kind of activity. Don't worry about that baby. That baby's life is so much better than yours. Worry about yourself. Worry about the bills that you're having trouble paying. That baby will never know what it's like to struggle to pay bills in her life. That baby is totally fine.
That hurts.
Yeah, that if you felt bad for that baby, Caitlin, that baby would look at your life or mine and be like, what sad schmucks. Like, man, those women suck. Like, hey, poors. Like, I pray for you. I pray to the Mormon God for you. Like, that's what that baby's saying to us. So I think this has been a great segment.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another thing I would say on that. You really have to trust your own body. And here's what I mean by that. Hannah is no doubt an ambitious woman. I share this with her. She is clearly someone who likes to achieve, likes to face challenges and overcome them. And I get that. So when I had my first child, all of these people, the midwives, the doulas, the lactation consultants, all of these people were just mother henning me to death about rest. Oh, you have to rest. You have to rest. You have to rest. And I really didn't want to. I am a like, how about if I win? How about that? Like, I want to win, not rest. And it's so funny because all of these all of these women would have all of these like women's empowerment bumper stickers on their car, but then they just tried to control me to death. Like there was no empowerment when it came to, they were just going to tell me what to do 24/7. There was no choice when it came to me doing anything I wanted to do. And they were like, you need to sit in bed like a blob for 6 weeks. Because I guess that's what they wanted to do. So that's what all women should do. So they were so controlling about it. And everything in me told me not to do that. I mean, day 2 or 3, I was like, I'm really tired of this. I mean, I like sitting in bed as much as the next person, but there was just something about it. I was like, I need to go do something. Like I want to, I don't know, go discover a new restaurant or something like that. And I got so much pushback for it that I just didn't want to rest. And same thing in my second pregnancy. I was like, what's weird is I generally like lying in bed. I'll do it all the time now. Like I'll lie in bed all day. But when those babies were born, I didn't want to lie in bed. And everyone told me I should. But when I listened to my body, I said, this doesn't feel right to just sit in bed. Well, guess what? Turns out I have a very serious genetic clotting disorder that is exacerbated by pregnancy and makes me very susceptible to blood clots. If I had listened to the midwives and the lactation consultants and the friends and all of these women trying to control me and force me to stay in bed all day, I could have died. I could have literally died of a blood clot because motion is very important for keeping your blood flowing. And once I got diagnosed with the clotting disorder, then of course the advice was like, get up. They wouldn't even let me sit in bed in the hospital. They had me walking the halls like constantly, even when I was on blood thinners, because this disorder is so serious. So I was right and everybody was wrong, is the moral of that story. But really, I am so glad that I listened to my gut instinct. My gut instinct told me not to lie in bed after I had my babies. I did not even know that I had a very serious blood clotting disorder, but my body did, and it was sending me signals like, get up, get up, get up. You want a blood clot in your lung or brains? No, get up. And I am so glad that I ignored everyone else and I listened to what my body was telling me to do. And I got up and I moved around. I literally could have died if I had taken the standard advice to just lie in bed and do nothing after you have a baby. So that is another reason why I am very hesitant to tell other women how they should be acting postpartum, because it could have killed me to take the standard advice and do the standard thing. And so maybe it's the same thing with Hannah. Maybe she has a disorder where not looking hot for 5 seconds would kill her. She could have that disorder. We don't know. And so maybe her body is telling her like, put on a sexy dress and dance on a stage. And I just think that we need to respect what women want to do postpartum, because maybe there is some deep disorder that like is cured when she wears sequins. And this woman is just like, it could be saving her life up with her baton on the Mrs. World stage. We don't know. We can't judge. So that is why that's why I always bristle when people are like, she shouldn't be doing that postpartum. Well, I heard that, and that was not the advice that I needed. So I'm just like, look, that baby has had more blessings in the first 12 days of her life than you and I will know in the next 12 years. So the baby is totally fine. Don't need to worry about the baby. Hannah is totally fine. And we all just need to make peace with the fact that we suck. Like we suck. Like we suffered. We're never going to be Hannah. She's better than us, but that's okay. And I will say, this sounds like I'm blowing this off, but it sounds like this is a platitude, but this is honestly true. When you are grateful for what you do have and realize that what you do have is probably right for you, you can get over these feelings of inferiority. Because you know what's funny is, as much as I talk about a village and I wish I had one and I wish everyone in my family weren't dead and I wasn't the last of the line for this entire line of my family, I do wish that weren't true. But let's face it, if I had 7 siblings, they'd be on my nerves all the time. So even when you feel bereft, even when you feel like you want Hannah's life. You want, like, you're like, Caitlin's probably like what I was thinking, like, could I just have a little bit of her money? Like, I don't need a 9-figure net worth. How about 8? Can we go for 8? Could we go for 7? I know some of you guys.
6-figure. I'd go with that.
I was gonna say, I think some of my listeners are having the kind of months where they're like, Jen, I would take a 4-figure net worth at this point. Things are pretty bad. But I do think that, you know, my husband, having gone to the schools he went to, we know a lot of rich people, like really rich people. I mean, I was just at trivia night at the yacht club. I rub elbows with some rich people. And I will say, you just don't want other people's lives. You want your life. I'm dead serious about that. Like, you don't want Hannah's life. You want your life. You definitely don't want my life. You don't want, with all the crazy, the undiagnosed mental illnesses. Like, I can't get a massage without getting stressed out. You want your life. You really do. And when you settle into that and you're like, hey, this life of mine is a dumpster fire, but it's my dumpster fire. It actually ushers you into a new era of peace and freedom that is honestly like really helpful. So just remember that, you know, it's a dumpster fire, but it's your dumpster fire.